Now recording.
Hello, welcome to Now Recording. I am Matt Pitt. With me today is D-Max.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
And Core Master.
Yo, what's going on, people?
Now, I don't know if anyone else is going to be joining us. I think Mitch is at work. I don't know where Toxic is, and I do not know where Beavers is, and he's probably sleeping. So for right now, it's probably just going to be us three, and then a special guest who we will bring in just a moment. Who knows about Josh Pescatore?
I did not know anything about it. This is another one of these lore people who popped off during the time that I was absent for commentary, I think. Maybe he might have been around a little bit in 2016, now that I'm thinking about it. But it probably would have been in the background or maybe just starting out with like Keemstar stuff or something, right? Hey, look, speak of the devils. Beavers. Yo. Oh.
What's up, dude?
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
we started a recording, just so you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Matt's like, oh, it's at this time. Then he starts a minute early. Suck it.
We didn't start a minute. What?
Yes,
I, like a minute early would be all that bad anyway. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, I got Pescatore ready to go, so it's just like, all right, well, I'll see if everybody's ready. All right, so as you were saying, it's lore you don't know, D-Max?
I do not know. No, I don't know Pescatore all that well. I've done some research for today, but not really.
So, yeah. So basically, Pescatore's before me. I didn't join the news team until 2021. This whole stuff happened in 2020. But before all that, and say about 2017, maybe 2018, he was probably the premium news member on Keemstar's news team. And apparently got a lot of sources and stories and was able to contribute to the news, to Drama Alert quite a bit, to the point where his name was kind of had kind of a reputation as being able to finding stuff. And that's kind of how he was first known. And then there were some situations with Keemstar about a second channel that Pescatore took. Keem said he didn't give it to him. Pescatore said it was given. And then a few years later in 2020, there was a huge deal with Pescatore having a lot of issues with Tommy and Nick that just kind of turned into an implosion of his reputation and his character, as he was recorded on call saying stuff like, I'm going to burn your house down, build it back, burn it again. I could, I could do that. I have all this money, all that. And it kind of like, it was really weird.
It's some pretty unhinged stuff. I mean, from what I was listening to, is pretty wild. But actually, I mean, because you mentioned it, I just want to make sure for the audience sake, like pretty much what he was, I guess we'll find out from him. But as far as I understand, the reason why he has beef with Nick, and with Tommy is that they were criticizing him for basically taking that channel that he now operates through Keemstar. Like that was the main gripe that everybody had with him, right?
I think so. I'm not too sure because there was a lot of issues that were happening that kind of just like combined together.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll ask him.
Yeah, we'll find out in the interview.
Well, and I could give you some things. Like I know that Tommy and Dave were in a call with Pescatore at one point, and he was telling like war stories as if he was like a fellow soldier or something like that, or like an agent of some sort, and they
a soldier of fortune.
Yeah.
So this is a stolen valor situation too?
Not stolen valor. He was doing it from all the comfort of his keyboard. So
yeah.
Oh, I see. So he was in like military, but he wasn't like out in the.
It's really complicated. It's a really complicated story.
Okay,
I don't even know if we can go into.
Oh, true.
I don't know. It's up to him. Whatever he wants to talk about today. So
well, I guess we'll ask. I'll try to find a moment.
I'll bring in Pescatore right now. Beavers, you got anything before we start?
No.
Okay. Josh.
Yo, what's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good.
Before we go right into the interview. Is there anything you don't want to talk about, Josh?
Nah. Let's talk about whatever y'all got on the menu. Let's eat.
Any hesitance coming on the show, given the reputation of the commentary community? And
Nah.
Okay.
I don't really know why everybody's so afraid of me. I know it's because of that rant that I did on Tommy and what's his face, Nick. But that was something I got off the top of my head when one afternoon when I was really mad with other stuff, and what they were doing was pissing me off. So I just decided to go off.
Just let it go.
Yeah,
Right?
a lot of I'm not a YouTuber. I'm more of a
Right.
producer. I'm not an on-air talent. So I do business differently.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, we'll get more into that, but I did want to first start. Like, how did you find like this area of YouTube with the news and commentary and all of that?
Okay, I've been watching YouTube news, drama, just interplay from the community probably ever since like 2014. I think was when I was interested in it because I started seeing how much money people were making. And one of my first introductions to the sphere was when do y'all remember when PewDiePie hired those funny Fiverr guys and they put up that sign that says blank to all Jews?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. One of my first introductions was that situation because those funny guys, those Fiverr guys, they were Indians. They were from I think they were from either Pakistan or maybe it was straight up India, but they had written a comment in Pew's video and they were explaining that they got kicked off Fiverr because of that, right?
Right.
Well, of course, PewDiePie is not going to answer just a random comment that they see on, in the comments of a YouTube video. They'll never see it. I was able to see it. I was able to get in touch with them. Now, mind you, English is not their first language. They hardly knew it. So we had to translate everything back and forth. So I was able to facilitate getting them some press with the Sun out of the UK. It was something I was doing at my work because it was really boring this time of year. It's like January, I think. And when you work in consumer electronics, that's like your slowest time. So I was sitting at work and I got in touch with those guys, and those guys they had asked me straight up, they were like, we'll pay you if you can get our account back. And I said, I don't know anyone. I can't do anything about it. I said, the one thing I know is I know how to interface with people and network. So what I'll do is I'm going to call a couple of newspapers or outlets that were doing a little bit of YouTube news at that time. Because it's 2016. It's like YouTube news or internet culture news was nothing. The only thing they had out was it was like novelties, like crimes and stuff like that. Nothing really, it's not like TMZ kind of stuff. Of course, there was Keem going on, but in 2016, he was having his little, why am I still getting hate?
Yeah.
So
Leafy and Great A.
Exactly. He had just come back in the scene, at the end of 16 and then the PewDiePie thing happens and we're in the beginning of 17 and I get in touch with somebody at the Sun. They say to me, we'll run the story if PewDiePie acknowledges it in his video. So I say, okay, well, I've seen this done before. It's like, I got to get the word out somehow. And one of the first places I went was Tommy's stream because he was one of the only people that did like a daily stream around the time when I was at work. Right. So went on his show, threw it up there, just, it's a lark. I'm just kind of spamming it wherever and see where it hits. Hits on his show. And he starts talking about it. PewDiePie ends up talking about it just because we had created so much of a fervor of it on Twitter. I made them get a Twitter account. Like the Twitter account they had is like, I made them get it. I actually built it for them. It was supposed to be mine after everything was done, but we'll talk about that in a second. But we're doing all this stuff. It's like coming together. Things are moving really fast. I'm like meeting people online and like also journalists too. Is like a couple of them picked up that I was kind of like aggregating this information, making it easy for them to find in one place so they could just, make an article on it, a novelty. And then everything is handled, they get back on Fiverr, everything's cool. And then Valentine's of 17 is when they kicked him off the partner program and they did the Wall Street Journal story and video. And that's not what caused the apocalypse. That was the straw that broke the camel's back that caused the apocalypse.
So that's the OG adpocalypse. That's Adpocalypse 1.
Correct.
That's because Adpocalypse 2 was the bridge. Yeah.
Correct. This was the one where they changed the entire monetizations of YouTube. Whereas before, all it took was just like a name, a phone number, a bank account, a social security number, and filling out, your tax information, and that's all you needed to get paid. Now they developed this system where they're going to review every single video and then like give it a grade at the same time. And y'all remember how long it took? It's like that was like what, 4 months maybe of no ads, but they were designing that system.
It's so funny because I was an editor. I worked for people at that time, and that adpocalypse kind of like changed my life forever. So
wiped you out.
So that's kind of awesome. Love it. Thanks, bro.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thanks.
He should have known that. If it's on me, I would say PewDiePie should have known better. But the person that should have known the most was the editor, the young UK editor that he had at the time.
Morton?
Not Cy. I know him. The older one, the one before. He had glasses. He had a beard.
I don't remember.
Brown hair. Name. This would have been 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
And I'll remember his name. I'll remember his name here in a second. But he was the one that was kind of like editing in this. I won't call it Nazi imagery, but it was like adjacent. It was one of those things where they wanted to touch that line. And if I was producing that video, or if I was making that video, and I saw that part of the video, number one, I would have blanked it out if I wouldn't even put it on screen. That's where I think they fucked up. And it made it so that everyone in the mainstream media could point at this situation and say, look at this. Do you want ads on this kind of shit? And then when they went back and started looking through YouTube and they found that real Nazi ad that just had a regular Coca-Cola ad run before it, whatever. Yeah. That's when they totally flipped out. And it just went bad every which way. I remember that was around the time where I had met H3 and we were talking. I was feeding him some information on that monetization situation where Wall Street Journal had claimed, well, we went to this video and saw a Nazi ad. And when we went to go check, at first we were like, maybe this is, not what they're saying is, but it turned out it was. And that's the reason why there are yellow dots all over YouTube now. Right. That's also one of the reasons why the internet culture coverage kicked off really, really high, because that was one of the first times that normies saw YouTube as like, they make money on YouTube? What? How do you make money on YouTube? I used to get that all the time. How do you make money on YouTube?
Yeah, that was me. They rated out how many times you click the button. Like what?
Is it like? Do you see it on the phone? Do they leave a message and that's how they count them? I was like, and this is like 2016, 17. So okay, all that's happening. There's news out the wazoo.
Before you continue, there was something I wanted to ask you. Did you have a confrontation with Tommy during that? I know you've had confrontations with Tommy past that, but did you have a confrontation with Tommy during that, the Fiverr era?
Yeah, I think that's when I first met Tommy, and I give him that stuff about the Fiverr guys, and then I want to say a day or two later, he wanted to call me at my work. He didn't want to we were texting, and he wanted to talk to me, but I was working at the time. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, well, I got a little bit of time I can talk. And I was talking to him, and he had Colossal on the phone too. And I guess he was thinking I was some sort of scam or just whatever. And I was trying to let him know, I was like, I'm just, trying to look out for these dudes right here, trying to make some connections. I'm not really into anything. And I had another person that was pretending to be PewDiePie at the time, but he was just a troll. And that was one of my first times dealing with trolls on the internet. So at that point, I'm pretty green. And I'm kind of taking what everyone says to me at face value. But after that, I think Tommy became obsessed with this offhand remark that I made. It's like a joke that I make jokes to myself all the time. Yeah. And what was the question he said to me? He was like, what do you do? And I said, I work in car audio, truck accessories, manage a shop right now. And I I hunt terrorists on the side. That was what I said. It was like the third thing. It's like 3 comedies are in threes. And on the third one, I said, I hunt terrorists on the side. And the reason why I said it was because at that particular time, we were actually looking for some of the terrorists that were inside of that camp during the time when my dad was kidnapped. And they had already, by this time, FARC had already dissolved and a lot of them were in jail. So we were getting depositions for them. So I was trying to find these certain people. And to myself, when I'm working, like I'll say shit out loud because it's funny to me.
Right.
And I didn't realize that Tommy was just going to like latch on to that little bit. And then he starts saying that, what was it? Stolen valor. That was what
it's because the phrasing that Tommy uses, and I think Dave was in the call as well, and I could be wrong, I was not there. That you said, I'm like one of you guys, is what the phrasing.
No,
Tommy
I didn't.
uses.
If I said I'm like one of you guys, I'm talking about YouTubers, because I didn't even know the motherfuckers were in the military. Who would have ever thought those people are in the military?
Okay. I mean, yeah. All right. Like, I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know, but that's how Tommy tells the story.
Yeah, sure I mean, he can. That's the thing is like he parses single words, and instead of like asking me to clarify or something like that, he goes off on these wild tinfoil Tommy like runs, and he's done this shit with other people too. It's not logical because you could have just asked like, what do you mean by that? And I would have told him exactly how I told him like in 18 when I let it be known that I had sued Chiquita and I had sued FARC and we won, and we had some really big cases that were going to be now. Can we go into a little bit on that? So your father was murdered by terrorists in Mexico, was it? No, he was. He owned an oil and natural gas company.
Right.
He was scouting wells in Colombia. Near Bogota, and this is 1996. And it was always very, very dangerous down there because this is like the time of Pablo Escobar and the Cali cartel.
Yeah.
So my dad did a lot of traveling. He went to Israel during the first Gulf War, and he did a lot of that kind of work. So we were never really nervous about him going overseas. But this time, the guys that were his security detail, they had colluded with the FARC, and they allowed them to kidnap my dad. That's exactly how it happened. He was on the phone with one of his business partners, and then he says like, "There's a Jeep coming with some armed mercenaries, guerrillas. I think it's the FARC." And then you could kind of hear in the background. Then they kidnap him. Everything goes haywire crazy in my household because I'm 17 at the time. I'm like a senior in high school. I'm about to graduate. This is Thanksgiving in 96. So I'm graduating in May of 97. And I have a brother and I have 2 sisters and my mother. And during that time, it was just a whirlwind. There were State Department people at the house. There were FBI. There were news people out the wazoo. They used to hide in the bushes in my high school trying to get me to talk, because from November of 96 until February of 97, they find my father deceased in a small village outside of Bogota. He had attempted escape, and they shot him in the jungle. And then before then they were trying to negotiate a ransom of around $2 million. And my uncle was trying to get that facilitated because he works for Bank of America. And it comes that he's killed during the escape attempt. It was bad. It's like, they were mad at him, so they eviscerated his body with machine guns. He did not have an open casket. And so that happens in 97. So pretty much for the next decade, I'm working relationships, just normie dude stuff. It's like I'd never really thought about suing a terrorist organization or really like even drawing any more attention to myself and my family, because we knew if we wanted to do that, then we would have to become like the face of it.
Yeah.
Then 9/11 happens, and that affects us as well, because my dad's side of the family is actually from New York, and there were a family friend that had perished in the towers, and there were other people affected by it in my family. So after that, we decided, yes, they had changed it because of the Patriot Act. Now you could sue people under the Anti-Terrorism Act. And for the next 4 years, it was research. It was saving money to find the right attorney. And then in 2017 is when I filed both things.
Gotcha.
And the reason why when I talk about this is like, it may sound more like I'm explaining it as a news thing, or I'm telling you it as a story, and you might not see the emotion. It's only because I've had to do this umpteen times under oath, all kind of stuff. So
well, it's been a while as well.
Right.
So I imagined it.
I was gonna say it's been a while. You know,
It's been about 27 years. Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and it was a notorious case too. Like, so yeah, like you having to tell that story over and over, it makes sense that it would sound not robotic, but like
right, just like
attached.
He's just listing the facts at this
right.
point.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of like how I explained how I lost my leg. Like I've told that story a million times, and like it's been so long that I'm detached from how when it happened. You know.
Right.
It's so IED.
Shut up.
I didn't even know that.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was a blood clot. I was not in the military.
Okay.
You fucking asshole. The one time.
He's trying to steal valor for you.
Yeah, they're stealing valor everywhere. That's what that's what everybody's gonna be talking about tomorrow. It's like Matt Pitt and crew and Josh stealing valor out the wazoo.
Oh no, not on you. Yeah. Well, yeah. So anyway, Matt, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, I was just wanted you to give us. So back to like the present time. Then Tommy from what you say, Tommy misconstrued something you said, took it out of context, and
way out of context.
So you guys had this back and forth, and there was a fight. How did that bridge mend, or did it ever mend?
I mean, him and I, we're the same age, so I, expect him to have the kind of thinking around that I have. So I'm not holding a grudge. I might get mad. We may, have words and stuff, but this is internet stuff. It's like anything in the real world just is detached from this itself. So this is just for me. So whenever I'm talking to someone like Tommy, they may think that I'm curt or that I'm, being a little bit arrogant with them. It's only because that I know exactly what I want. I don't really beat around the bush. And if it's something that pisses me off, like what he was doing when he was making those streams saying, fuck your dead dad, and like going hard into personal stuff when I just wanted to keep it, as like a YouTube kind of stuff, like the dude does the best job on YouTube. Because I would feed him stories sometimes when I worked at Drama Alert. At first, when he left Keem hated him. And when I came to work on Drama Alert, it was about like the summer of 2017. And Keem already had a bad taste in his mouth for Tommy, who was in his 40s. And when I told him, I was like, I'm around Tommy's age. At first, he was thinking that I was someone like Tommy. And I don't really want to, this didn't bash Tommy's session, but the one thing that is different from me and Tommy, and I'd like to impart that upon Keem and a lot of other people, is I'm not an entertainer. I'm a businessman. I'm someone that facilitates deals. I'm not here to be friendly. And if I'm, if you find me abrasive, I'm sorry. I'm really only caring about one thing, and that's my goal or my bottom line.
Yeah.
Tommy is really flighty, and whenever he has taken any kind of responsibilities, like the podcast with Keem or other stuff, it's always just, either failed or whatever, because it's not taken seriously. And there's, you can joke and do whatever and have fun, but when you're in your 40s and you have children, like I don't have children, if you have children, I would expect that you would need a minimum amount of support for your family going forward and building something larger towards that end. When Tommy talks shit about me and he says stuff like the lawyers did all that work and he didn't do shit, it's like he doesn't understand the legal system. He's never been in it. He doesn't understand that I've been doing this for 15 years, and I'm not a paralegal, but when you're in a game for, 15, 16 years, you kind of start to know the rules. And then after a while, you just kind of get better at it, and trial and error kicks in. And then you start to know exactly what you need after enough time, after enough of just working inside the legal system, because it's very hard and it's very time consuming and it's very expensive.
Sure.
So taking on that kind of, it's not just like, oh, people on the internet say, I'm gonna sue you, and they don't understand exactly the process of that, or how much money you need to do to do that, or where you need to go, or who you need to talk to. So for him to kind of downplay some of the achievements that I've made, which I don't like, I'm not like over here saying that I'm the man, but I've been behind the scenes in a couple of laws that have been passed, and I've facilitated and financed 2 of the largest terrorism lawsuits in United States history. So I take pride in that. That's just me. And with him being a soldier, I never understood why he was like always so like upfront and like trying to get in my face about kind of stupid shit. Like if he would just talk to me, I could explain it really quick.
Yeah.
And he just does shit like he'll send me behind the scenes when it's just me and him. He'll send me a little video message saying, "Hey man, I'm real sorry about your dad. It's a bummer. And you know, I really feel for you and your family, and y'all deserve everything you get. Blah 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 blah." And then like 2 days later, it's like, "Fuck Pescatore, fuck his dead dad." It's like, I know what kind of person that is. That's a shitbag. So, you know, you get treated like, if you smell like shit, I'm gonna treat you like shit. Right. Sorry.
Well, again, I wasn't there behind the scenes when all this was going down, so I have no idea what happened from Tommy's point of view.
Yeah.
So I can't really argue for him in the sense that I don't really know. I don't know what was going through his head. I don't know what he was talking about then. So like,
I don't want anybody to argue for Tommy. It's like, he's a grown man. If he's got some beef, then fucking put it on the grill.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, people, for the listeners thinking like, damn, Pescator's talking shit about Tommy, Matt's not saying shit. I don't know what happened.
Oh yeah. This predates Matt in a lot of ways. This is like when I was working in Drum Alert in 17, 18, and the beginning of 19. It's like, I'll talk a little bit about that if you want to hear about.
Yeah, no, actually, my question was going to be, how did you end up acquainting yourself with Keemstar and getting into that drama department, Drum Alert?
I met Keem in around May of 2017. Like, I had followed him, I knew about him, I watched him. At this time, he had just fired his original news team, which had an older European cat on there that was a nice guy, but when he left, it kind of left the show rudderless. Now, I've never done an entertainment show before. Most of the times I can just, do the business side of it. That's where I like to say the numbers side of it. And this was like a creative outlet for me. And when I met Keem, it was on Twitter. He had needed some information about a guy named Rhino Crunch getting arrested for, I think it was like forcible rape or something. And he didn't really understand how to search Pacer for like ongoing criminal cases or stuff like that. So I did it real quick. Just took me a second. Boo, boo, boo. Sent it to him on Twitter. He's like, "Hey, just appreciate this." Struck up a conversation with him. I said, "Hey, are you hiring?" Because, I forgot to say, when I was dealing with the Fiverr guys thing and the PewDiePie thing, before it went to shit, I had actually let one of my bosses know about the situation, because I was kind of proud of it that we helped those guys out. But when it came back to the Wall Street Journal coming out, his father, that owned the entire business, got the Wall Street Journal in print. So when he read the story and he said the word PewDiePie and they made that connection, they didn't fire me, but they were like, we can't have you doing this and working with us at the same time. And I was like, because at the time they were like thinking there was real Nazis, because that was all they were saying. Right. So I wasn't going to sit and argue with, a 95-year-old man that's just like, you need to, we can't do both things. He's like, you can do that or this. And I was like, to tell you what, I want to try something different. So that's when I asked Keem if he needed some work, and that I made it very clear that I'm not working for free. He had a lot of people work with him before that would just, work for the clout of it. I told him my time is money, and he respected that. And that's how he picked me up. And it was me, another younger guy. And then once the Drama Alert blew up in the summer of 2017, right after VidCon, we were off to the races, baby.
Yeah, it was one of the more bigger eras of Drama Alert, right? With the Jake Pauls and all that stuff going on.
Oh, yeah. It was like a perfect storm. I came in May. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was really just grabbing stories. In June was the VidCon where Christian Burns had cussed out that security guard, and that video was just, it was just gold. It was just golden. As soon as we saw it that day, we were the first people to have it. And I was like, this is a fucking story right here. Keem's like, yes, let's do this. Get in touch with the dude. Boom, boom, boom. And this was where my work ethic was different from the guys before. I would actually flesh this out a little bit more. Get in touch with that guy. Get in touch with the security guard. Who else has some B-roll? What else? How can we fill this story out? And we started doing that, and everyone's watching. I remember when we first put that video up, it hit like 2 million views. Keem was going nuts. Soon after that, we started doing the Jake Paul thing. Jake Paul was like the cash cow that just never gave out. Keem actually ended up hiring a person specifically to handle stories with Jake Paul and Logan Paul. He was out of Brazil. I think he still works for him. His name's Gustavo, and he lives in Brazil. And he was the one that used to do all the Jake Paul news. Because I'm telling you, dude, I would have spies on the road that Jake Paul used to live at. I met the lady across the street that was like a biology chemistry teacher for Caltech that lived like across the street from him. Maybe not Caltech, but it was some big university. She hated him, and she would send me all kind of information like they're having a big party, they're burning this, they're doing that. And then what popped it all off is one morning she sent me that picture of the whole crew lined up against the line because they had got swatted. Yeah, they were lined up against the wall, and they had that fat dude at the end, like Nick, whatever, like looking to the side. She wanted to sell me the picture, and I told her we don't pay for stories. She ended up giving it to me anyways, and that story blew up. And soon after that, that's when Jake Paul got kicked off. But like every day we had a new story because kids were just hanging around there. YouTubers would just stop by and just get some shine because that was the spot everyone went to at that time.
Was that when he was living in that like really nice neighborhood and he'd set like a bed on fire in his backyard and stuff like that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And I actually went to that house when I went to VidCon 2018. It's a okay neighborhood, but the problem with it is like it's in LA and it's just like blocks. So it's not a neighborhood. You can drive up and down that street all day long or walk all the way around that. So that's why they had all that foot traffic come to his house, because he loved that. He loved getting people over there, and everything fed on everything. And I think that month we made the most views Drama Alert had ever made in its entire history, which was 60 million in 1 month. And Keem went crazy on that. I think he made like $250,000 that month. Right. It was nuts. So I think he ended up buying his house, the house he's in now, and like the side by sides. It was crazy. and of course he's breaking us off too. So yeah, that was the sweet time in Drama Alert history. We could do no wrong. We were doing we could do 2 uploads a day and still hit 2 million each one.
Damn.
We were doing 100,000 views in 10 minutes.
That's crazy. You can't get that not even the bigger YouTubers can do that anymore.
No, it's in the drama sphere, like reporting on news now, they've handicapped it so much on YouTube. It's like, Keem's right. It's not profitable to run Drama Alert anymore because you still got to pay the people that, work there. And now that he's incorporated it, it's a real business. So I don't think it'll ever go back to the way it was, just because Keem, Leafy, Scarce, they had found this special niche that everyone loved, but no one could do anything about.
It was lightning in a bottle.
Exactly. And then when they changed it, when Susan changed it in 2018 to surfacing authoritative sources only on news stories, that killed Drama Alert's growth, because up until that point, we were the highest placement we got was number 6 in the news category for the entire world of YouTube. We beat everyone: ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, every mainstream. The only person that was beating us was the people that own Inside Edition, and that's just because they spam. They've got like 30 years worth of content to spam. So they were mainstream media. But I'm telling you, dudes, Keem would get 60, 70,000 subscribers in a day during that time. We went from 1.9 to 2.9 in the span of maybe 6 months. We did 1 million.
Damn. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What was Keem like behind the scenes as a boss?
He's pretty much like how he is in front of the scenes. Since him and I are about the same age, sometimes we'd have disagreements just because I would see things one way and he would see it the other. Most of the time working with him is great. You know, he's a collaborative person. He pushes you and makes it so you want to kind of get better each time. And he does have his idiosyncrasies. He's kind of like me. You know, he's short. He didn't like to explain himself a lot, especially if it's somebody he's paying. You know, like to me or to him, if I have someone I'm paying, I'm not here to be buddy. I'm not here to explain it. You can ask questions, but we need to get the work done. So I never felt like me and Keem are buddies. Now him and I have a mutual respect, and you know, it's cool. Everything's that had done in the past is over with. But that time, you know, we were producing at least a show a day. So you would have to get up to 7 stories that are internet related, YouTube related, and do the work inside of them. You just couldn't link the tweet and then just go. You had to get all the assets for the show. And if you didn't have, if you screwed up, then he was going to yell, because that's, you know, where's this fucking thing? But that's just how he is. That's just how some people are when they work. I understand it. That's how I am sometimes when I work.
Out of curiosity, real quick. Out of curiosity, were you under an NDA when you worked with Keem?
No. I was, one of the reasons why I like working there is like one of the first times I ever got to work from home, and he paid me straight cash. And I'm not going to say if I reported that or not, but I wasn't signed to Drama Alert, because Drama Alert wasn't incorporated at the time. After I left, Drama Alert incorporated, and now everyone is a you know, everyone's got to put their W-2
employee.
Employee. They're straight up. So I'm sure there probably is an NDA involved, but I've never signed anything.
Okay.
Even around the time where we did that channel with the Whoa Vicky joke, I had offered to get my lawyer to draw up something so we could share the revenue from that channel, because that was just like a fluke how that happened. Do you want to talk about that? Because a lot of people ask me about my channel. They're like, he stole it from Keem.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that in a second. Beavers, you had a question?
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't have a question. I was just going to say, like, so Keem's more of like a old style boss.
Yes.
Kind of deal.
Yeah.
Old man boss.
Yeah.
Before I ask him, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. You're good. I'm just agreeing with him. It's like what you see him saying on anywhere else. That's how he is. It's like he's not secretively, you know, a mastermind behind the scenes. He's just a guy that loves this space, and he can make things move. So with his clout, he can put things in action. And when things go into action is when you get good stories. Yeah. Which is why I think we don't get it now, because there's no one willing to get out there and, you know, be risky or get out there and do dumb shit just for the sake of attention.
Yeah. Before I ask about the second channel, do you know, like, was it any sort of stories, and like, this might be a confusing question, but was there any sort of drama behind the scenes of Drama Alert with like the news team, like maybe someone's like sulking because Keem yelled at him or something, like anything crazy like that? I've always been interested in what happens behind the scenes, like if there's any sort of turmoil or interesting situations you guys get yourself into.
Me and the two guys that worked Drama Alert, we never had an issue with each other.
Okay.
We worked great with each other, which is why I think we did so well. one of the guys, I'm not going to name him because he likes to say anonymous, but during this time he was coming out of high school and he was going into college. So he was asking me a lot of, just kind of like, brotherly stuff. It's like, hey, I don't know about this or that in college. Have you ever done this or that? And I'm just trying to be nice and give him, some guidance in that situation, because that kid was smart and he had been with Keem ever since the beginning. Gustavo, to tell you the truth, is like we never really talked with him that much because he did his work and just delivered it. And since he didn't speak English, he never was on the call, but he would, he'd write in English. Every day, me, Keem, and the other guy, we'd have a call, discuss everything. And that's normally when Keem would put the boot to everyone and say, like, you got to do better. Let's do it. Kind of like how a coach is. I would say his way of boss is a coach kind of thing. And the behind the scenes, like as us dealing with people and on YouTube, there's some good stories. One of my favorite is the Swatistic story that actually ended up helping some families and putting a really bad guy away for 20 years.
Yeah.
That one right there surprised the fuck out of me, because when we finally got in touch with the kid after we knew exactly what was happening and we made sure that was the kid, when I offered to have him come on Drama Alert, Keem and I were discussing a strategy to get him to admit that he did this, to get him to confess. Like, that's where we like, if we get him to confess, then they can actually use this, like the government can use this.
Right.
To our astonishment, it's like Keem gets on there and like the first question, the kid's like, yeah, I did it, but
no
I
pushback whatsoever.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like in Keem's face, it's like it threw him so much for a loop because we had planned so hard to like try how to nail him to get him to confess, and it happened so fast. It's like Keem didn't know what to say next, so he's trying to like figure out a question, and that's kind of why the interview's like it starts and stops. But when he starts to talk about, do you think you're responsible for this? And he was like, not completely. The cops deserve responsibility as well. And after that, I was like, you got him. It's like, you got him. So I got in touch with someone that I know at the FBI, and I just gave him the information. I'm like, this is a story that's going on right now. I'm not saying anything, but here, let me alert you. And they were already working on that. And that guy had given them the video for Drama Alert. And the next morning they had picked that kid up, because I think we even figured out where he was. He was like in a Starbucks on the south side of Los Angeles, and we didn't figure out exactly where he was, but he stayed on the line forever, and they had him the next day. That dude admitted to swatting that guy that got himself killed. He admitted to swatting the United States Congress vote when they were having the vote on the internet freedom bill, not the freedom bill, the neutrality, the
net neutrality.
They were having that vote at that time. Ajit Pai was having that vote at that time, and he called in a bomb threat, and they charged him with that. All in all, he got 20 years fed. Plus, he got 10 years state too. So that kid threw his life away for to swat people for $10.
So you're for your involvement in that, would you classify yourself as an FBI informant?
Nah.
You're not a Fed? So you're going on the record saying you're not a Fed. Okay.
Not a Fed that you know of. Was that Jan 6? I don't know.
Oh boy.
No, it's just because I've had a lot of interaction with United States law enforcement.
Sure,
to my dad.
Well, for your past, of course. Yeah. I understand. Yeah.
So he didn't. He actually hadn't heard from me in like 3 or 4 years, and I'm like, dude, he was nice back in the day. It's like, man, you would not believe what I'm working in now. It's like, here, I'm just going to send you this, blah blah blah. I don't know if that ended up, just leading to his capture or something, but I know that video of it is referenced a lot. It got referenced in Crime Watch Daily. What's his face? That fucker, Chris Hansen.
Yeah.
That fuck boy. he took it and he didn't even credit us. He put it on there, but he didn't even credit the Drama Alert or Keem by name, which I thought was shitty.
I think Netflix used it recently.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Shit.
What else did go on Drama Alert? There was. Do y'all have any stories that Drama Alert did that y'all love? That's what I like asking people. It's like, what's your favorite Drama Alert story or story arc?
I mean, it's been a minute, but that era of Drama Alert is pretty legendary. I mean, that's, obviously it's a height. I think for a lot of things, it kind of burgeoned. It kind of started the whole commentary trend in general. So,
it really.
You weren't involved in the Basher stuff, were you?
No, that was before me. I started in 2017, right after the adpocalypse. Like I'd never had a chance to work on YouTube before the adpocalypse. It's always been.
When did you end? When did you leave?
I left in July of 2019, and it was it was because of money. I had left for 2 months because I was dealing with my grandmother in the hospital. No, it was my mother in the hospital at that time. And when I came back, the money had kind of fallen off for Drama Alert. The views, you could tell they were starting to wobble. They weren't bad, but they were starting to wobble. And he wouldn't pay me for that month because at this point in time, I had already settled with Chiquita and I'm working on FARC. So it's not like I needed the money anymore to work at Drama Alert. But I had worked at Drama Alert for a straight year after the settlement. But my thing is like when someone, the first time that someone doesn't pay you after they've, we've established this payment schedule for 2 years and then they all of a sudden stop, then there's no reason to work there anymore. You can't go back after that. And I took that as a slight. One of the reasons why the channel is under my care now is because when I made it, the joke was Keem called me up. He said, "Hey, let me use one of your many YouTube channels that you have, and I hate this Whoa Vicky bitch. We're gonna do a subscriber thing where I'm gonna put out a video saying everyone go subscribe to this channel, and if Whoa Vicky gets on here with I think it was like her DNA test showing that she's not black or showing she is black, then she gets the channel." That was what it was.
Yeah.
And I was holding it because he couldn't make a YouTube channel, a new YouTube channel, because he had been barred from YouTube.
He's not allowed to.
At that time. At that time.
Yeah, at that time.
It's September of 2017. And so I make the channel. The joke falls flat because it doesn't really she didn't want to do it. She didn't want to embarrass herself. But Keem had gotten almost 220,000 people to subscribe to that channel in one day. And we were amazed. So that channel hung around and me and the other guy were using it as a tutorial behind the scenes to see how monetization worked or to see how monetization buttressed up against search. Because at that point, we can't use Drama Alert's dashboard to see numbers, to do real-time analytics, like dig into the numbers, which is what I wanted to do. And when that channel came around, I was like, this is perfect. I was like, all we got to do is just, put out Keem's Twitter videos on it and we'll monetize it. And Keem's like, we'll split it 50-50. And I'm like, cool, let's do it. Do it for like 2 or 3 months. The damn thing starts making like good money. Like after the third month, it's like 5 G's a month. And at this point, it starts to go a little sideways for me and Keem, because I don't know if he thought that he could try to get over me on this one, but he's like, let's put that channel in my network of social blades so we can get better ad rates and we could get better protection. And I said, that's great. Let's do it. I don't care. This is just free real estate to me. And we do that. And as soon as he does that, he like changes the payout from my bank to his bank. That wasn't weird to me because we had discussed it. But I asked him, I said, do you want me to have my attorney draw something up so we can, just cover each other's ass? And that's when he turned. He's like, no, no, we're not going to do that. Da, 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 da. So it wasn't a big deal to me because I'm not a YouTuber. So for like the next year and a half, like that channel just sat there because it was, I didn't want to do anything to it. I still worked at Drama Alert. I wasn't going to quit over some stupid, joke channel. But at the very end, when I left, the problem is I had paid taxes on that channel for the last few years, and I paid taxes on all the money that it's made too. So I had the tax burden, and that's like 98% of ownership. So when I left, I told him straight up, I was like, any assets that are of my tax burden, I am taking with me because I can't leave them in other people's care. And that was my reasoning for it. It wasn't to like start another channel to compete against Keem. It was just that I didn't want anyone, fucking with my anything related to my name. So I took it, and then after a while, when I met John, I was like, he's got some talent. And that's when I said, well, let's do a little news channel.
So just make it clear, what you're saying is the channel was originally yours that you made, and Keem wanted it as like a joke channel. You got shared at 50-50. And then when he put his bank in, you considered that it wouldn't be an issue. And then after you left Drama Alert, you had to pay the taxes, so you took it back and put your bank back in there, right?
Well, yeah, I always had the ability to take the channel, off of Social Blade. Like at Social Blade, you can do like a 30 days thing, and then they'll take you off. So when I took it off Social Blade, everything reverted back to me, back to how it was anyway. And that's really all I had to do.
Okay.
Keem, he pissed and moaned for a little bit, but to tell you the truth, this was the easiest option out of everything. I mean, that channel for me now is it's just a way to communicate on YouTube since I don't do videos anymore. That's all it is to me. It's not even monetized anymore, to tell you the truth.
Right.
Sorry, I just want to you probably have done this before, like other places, I would imagine, but I just want to get a little bit more specific. So when you created, or when you had that channel, so you're saying that you had that channel before Keem ever asked for it, or did you create the channel after Keem asked for it?
No, I had it. I renamed.
You had it. So you had like a separate email and everything, and it was already dished out as a channel?
Correct.
Okay. Did you personally ever have any intention to give that channel to that girl if she did what Keem said?
Yeah. I mean, that was the deal. It was like, it
didn't work out that way.
Right.
You had every intention to.
If I would have given it to her, I would have traded everything over, like the tax burden and all that kind of stuff. I would have actually just taken my name and deadened it to where it has no monetization and just handed it over to her.
Okay. And then when you had that conversation with Keem about the whole money situation and everything, at that point, you stopped all production on the channel. You didn't touch it from that point. Like until you created Pescatore.
Right. I just disconnected it and reverted it back to sole proprietorship instead of shared proprietorship.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is like it's so hard to explain that because it gets into like talking about taxes and shit that other people don't want to talk about. They would just rather think that I broke into Keem's like house and stole a password and took the channel.
I guess I guess the thing is like where it starts to get a little hairy for people, and it's hard, like you said, because it's depending on like tax codes and business nomenclature, let's say like that. Was it ever under like the Keemstar or Drama Alert, I guess, business name? I don't know what his LLC is, or like if he has an LLC or what it was at that point, but was it ever under that, or were you just basically a contractor?
Basically a contractor that wasn't under any kind of the 1099. I never did anything for that. So,
because you never filed your taxes, right? On that?
Well, allegedly.
On that, allegedly.
On something like on that particular on Drama Alert, just say that was just cash money that I was bringing in.
Got it.
And so I didn't have any kind of like anything that you develop during your time at Drama Alert is property of Drama Alert. I don't have the Silicon Valley catch-22 thing.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Like you work your project here, we own it. No, it was just a fluke, really. And Keem not wanting at this time, Keem he wasn't interested in doing any kind of legal work, like having a lawyer draw up papers or whatever, which is no big deal to me. Now he is definitely into legal work because he gets sued like every other month. But back then it wasn't a big deal. And Drama Alert didn't incorporate as a company until like I think
Later,
August,
yeah.
August of 2019, and I had already left it July.
Yeah. Okay.
So one of Nicholas's accusations towards you is that you bought your own play buttons. Is that true?
Well, I mean, they give you one. They give you one for free, and then you have the option to buy as many as you want. That's for anyone.
Okay, so the way he phrased it is like you went on Amazon and you found a play button or something like that. Is that not?
No, that's retarded. Okay. I gave one.
Okay.
I bought one. No, I got one free. I bought one for John. I bought one for the other guy. That's I forget his name. Man, and then the young kid.
Okay, well then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's how you phrase it, because so you can buy as many play buttons as you want.
Right. I can call up the company right now and buy 10 as long as I pay 125 for each one of them. They give you as many as you want.
Okay, I'm still a normie when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
So
is that can you explain that, because I don't really understand how that process works either. Is that through YouTube or Google? Like, so Google gives you your first one free.
Now this is how it works. When you get 100,000 and you apply to them, they actually take your channel and they look it all over to make sure that you are worthy of the button. To tell you the truth, we tried getting a button when I was working at Drama Alert, just as a funny thing, but they wouldn't do it because of they said the channel didn't meet the requirements. It wasn't until I hired John and we did those kind of 30 videos that we produced very well that YouTube said, yes, we'll give you a play button. And what they do is they have a specific company that contracts this out. The new one, the old one that was made out of in the glass plastic thing. I don't know who did those in the past, but they have a company that specifically manufactures these, and they ship them out, and they ask you, what do you want on the play button? Because it doesn't have to be your channel name. You could put whatever you wanted. And I didn't want to put Pescatore and then give it out to all these guys, and then just say my name on it. So I had to say Pescatore News Network. And that was mainly for them because they had done so much work. Because you got to understand, it's like at the time that I was doing this, we're pre-pandemic. We're coming up on the pandemic. I'm moving out of Louisiana to Florida. I'm selling my house and buying another one. So I didn't really have a lot of time to get in with them. Every night I would interface with them and we would decide, what videos we'd do. And John was really good at that. I'll take nothing away from John. He has talent. He has a problem with lying, but he has talent. So they worked hard for that. And I felt that they should have a play button. So I paid the money to buy it. And then in the case of John, I had to ship the fucking thing during the pandemic from Florida to Australia, and that costs more than the plaque.
Yeah.
So, and then after after he left, no one wanted to have anything to do with me because I wanted to make myself as toxic as possible because I just didn't want to play in that space anymore. He gave me $125 to pay for that plaque, so I will say that he did that. And that's thanks. He didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. But I didn't buy it off fucking Amazon or anything.
Okay, no, that was me. I didn't know you could just buy. You just can continue to buy YouTube play buttons once you get a play. The way Nick phrased it, I was just like, oh, he went on Amazon and got his own YouTube play. I don't know. That was just me. I just didn't understand it.
It's like if you have if I was a larger production channel that had like many people, it's like you could buy them from the producers or the host. Or whatever.
Nice. Okay. So John Swan. All right. How did you find John Swan? Were you scouting talent for your channel?
Yes, because at this point, this was like maybe like in October of 2019, and I was getting really bored. So I saw John Swan's video, the documentary he made on Minecraft. That was my introduction to him.
I thought you were about to say Mein Kampf. I was like, what?
Minecraft.
He made a documentary about Mein Kampf.
Hey. No, the Minecraft video where he interviewed Dream. I think that's when the whole Dream thing. Yeah. Like that's the original seed.
But it was like his first big video that really took off.
Yeah. And it was a good video. Like I hate Minecraft. It's such an autistic game. But him explaining it was a great video. And when you have when you have a news channel, your host has to have a great voice, and he's got a great voice. He really does. He's got that host UK presenter type of, regalness to him. He's an editor, and he can do well on camera. He's a triple threat.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was like, hey, I'm thinking about taking this channel, which I'm doing nothing with, and getting a news team together, get some guys together and produce some content. It's like, I'll pay you as long as, it's making money. But for right now, I'll kind of subsidize it, which I wasn't telling him is like, this is not going to be a full-time job for you. But, where I can, I will pay for this, that, or the other. If you need, editing software, if you need, tools of the trade, because at this point he was still living with his parents, and he hadn't moved out yet. He didn't have much. And
not to interrupt you,
okay.
sorry, but at this point, was the channel named Pescatore, or was it still Keemstar Clips, or?
No, I think I had changed it to Pescatore not long after I left Drama Alert, and I just changed it as like the placeholders. Like I didn't want to say Keemstar Clips because it wasn't, it wasn't
sure.
that
Yeah, I understand. I mean, especially if you're trying to make that argument at that point, like,
right.
I would get
you want
that.
to join my news network, Keemstar Clips?
Exactly.
Right. Well, so what did you do? What did you do with the videos that were there when that happened?
Oh, they're still up right now. At that particular time, I went ahead and privated everything.
Okay.
Because I wasn't sure if Keem was going to come legally after me, because everyone, you can sue anyone for anything in the United States. It's if you win or not. And at that point, I had talked it over with my attorney, and he said, if he wanted to, he could, but then y'all are talking about, pissing away tens of thousands of dollars over a fucking YouTube channel.
This is getting in the weeds completely, but I'm just curious about just because this has come up a few times, and I'm curious about your opinion on this. I'm so sorry, this is a tangent.
No,
but do you think that is a private video a published video? Like on YouTube, is a privated video a published video?
It's published. It's not viewable.
Sure. Okay.
But to like, well, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, is because like I said, it's come up a few times with some people, because like there's the question of, can you copyright a video if you are a person and you put out a video and then you private that video, and then somebody comes along and tries to re-upload that as a point of like, hey, look at this, like look at this video that somebody privated. Could the person who privated the video then copyright claim that, and would they be in good standing to do so? That's basically the reason I'm asking.
If they did a 1-to-1, they would not be in good standing. If they discussed
with fair use, of course. Yeah.
If they did, they discussed it, it's fine. But yeah, if I privated one video and y'all had grabbed it beforehand and then put it up as whole, it would be up to me.
Right.
Me personally, I wouldn't care. But if somebody, if somebody was in drama and they do that thing where it's like, oh shit, I need to private this video before anyone else can see it, but someone else had grabbed it and then they just threw it up online as like, mirror, you'll have problems with that. But put your intro on it, cut a few things here and there, and you're golden.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious just about your opinion about that. Sorry about the tangent.
No, you're good. A lot of people ask me stuff about that because back in the day, I used to find out little tricks to, just to kind of boost your score or boost your views on YouTube, and they worked. I don't know if they do now. The one thing that my claim to fame as far as analytics is concerned is the P-score story that I did with Nick, Optimus, and Boblax. That I think.
What was the P-score story? The
P-score story was, and y'all need to ask Nick about this because he'll probably, this is the only good time that I remember working with Nick. We'd seen him, me, Optimus, and Boblax had seen McJuggernuggets put up a tweet that said, hey, if you inspect Element, a YouTube video right now, you can see the entire code for YouTube. That's how it started. Okay.
Yeah.
So I tried it and I'm like, holy shit, you can. And you could see the rating for the video. That's what caught our interest. So
I remember this. Yeah.
Nick was starting to tweet about it. And so was Boblax. I think Optimus too. And I ran to them real quick because Nerd City had said that him and his guy were scraping YouTube to grab as much code as they could put their hands on. And I said, hey, if I develop a story, I'm going to put it out, but do you need time to like, do your data mining? He said, yeah, I need like, a day or so. So I went to those 3 dudes and I'm like, let's dig into this because I think this is a story. So we started looking at the code, and it's coming up with, the ratings and stuff, and we can see it, and we're like fascinated by it, and we're downloading as many channels as we can. Videos as we can at first, but then channels later, because we started seeing this number, this 3-digit number that said P score, 3-digit number, and that was right around the ratings, and we were like, what the hell is P score? For me, I know P score is like preferred score. It's kind of like a credit rating. Excuse me, a credit rating. So I'm like, this looks like a credit rating, or grading on a curve in a class. Only the top 10% can have A's, 20% have B's, 40% have C's, and it just goes like that as a curve. And we figured out that score was the score YouTube uses in monetization to give you better ads, or if you score over 800, you get into the YouTube Preferred Partner Program, which gives
the way I had it described to me, it was like is a social credit score.
That's exactly
they
what
assign it.
That's exactly when I say credit score. It's just credit score for all the content you put out, because it's not just about the numbers. They have 5 different factors that go into it, and a lot of it's like protection, presentation. It's all P words, but some of these things are ethereal, like because this is something that people that are on YouTube need to know. It didn't get as much coverage as I thought it would back in the day, but some people did pick it up.
I think I know what news story you're talking about. I'm actually trying to look for that one too, because I remember seeing this at some point.
After we discovered the P score, YouTube shut off access to the to see the code. It's like once they put those out the next day, YouTube was just like, yeah, we're gonna disable this so nobody can see the actual code.
And we don't usually do this, but for everybody at home, I'll link this just so that you guys can see it, or at least I'll throw it up on the screen so that you guys can actually find it at home if you want to look at it, because it is interesting. So these P score, let's break down what P score is before we dive in. The P score, once called a preference score. Okay, so these are the P's. Popularity. So it's popularity, or how much watch time their content brings in. Passion, or how much their content is engaged with. Comments, likes, shares, etc. Protection, or content's advertisers' friendliness. Platform, or how often content is watched on devices like TV. And finally, video's quality of production. So it's popularity, passion, protection, platform, and production. And so you found this with who again? Could you?
I found it. McJuggernuggets said, the code is up, but me, right, Nicholas, Bo Blacks, and Optimus found that inside the code. So
did it actually have like the breakout for all of those P's?
No, not.
Or was it just like P score? It was like the total P score.
Exactly. I don't know exactly how each one divides up. You would think it's 20% for each one, but I'm thinking that a couple of these weigh a little bit more. Yeah, weigh a little bit more. Yeah. The production one is the one that's more ethereal, and that's weird because I don't see how someone watching a video can judge its production if they don't know how it was made.
Well, I guess that'd be my next question. I wonder if this is somebody at YouTube, like literally putting in this information, or if this was an AI even then.
I don't know. I don't even know how you would quantify it. I've seen people that have no production value that it looks very good, but there's no money behind it. And then you might have something like G4 that has millions of dollars behind it, but it looks the same as anything else. There's nothing special about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you know that Tommy had like some kind of like unknown variable P score that was like crazy? I remember looking at Nerd City's P score list and I'm like, what the hell is this? It was like he was like rated X or something.
Weird. So it like didn't have a value, it just had an X?
Yeah, it was really weird.
YouTube, what are you doing?
Maybe it wasn't monetized, maybe? Because this only has to do with monetization. That's the score isn't like everyone has a score, but it's not used when you're not monetized. And the scores, if you don't have monetization, your score is normally low. Like we would see, we had we took like the top 10 scores that we could find, and the channels were all late night shows were the toppest ones. At the very bottom of that article, in descending order, the top, Stephen Colbert had the highest at 1047. Late Night with Seth Meyers right underneath that at 1046. Jimmy Fallon 1040. Jimmy Kimmel
Right.
Live, CBC. Linus Tech Tips was the first creator operated channel that we had that was over 1,000, and it was 1012. Poor PewDiePie had gone underneath 1,000, and Will Smith was at number 12 with right over 1,000. So we're talking about like big people.
All right, let's come back here, because if I can get some more fuel, then we can blowtorch. Oh, sorry.
God damn it, Corey! You're in the
God
wrong
damn it,
chat.
dude.
You fucking idiot.
Sorry.
It's okay. He's playing Destiny.
He's a producer. He's not.
Yeah, we'll just cut that. We'll cut that out, and I'll make notes.
Yeah, sure. I'll do.
Yeah,
We'll definitely cut it out. Yeah, we'll definitely cut it out.
At the hand clap. Cut it right there.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
My bad.
Moving on. I wanted to add, like, do you remember who all was on your news team, the PNN news team?
Hold on, let me pull up my Twitter real quick.
Was it like a great like?
It was two
was
guys.
it a bunch of people, or?
No, it was two guys and John. It was the young British kid that is friends with John. What's
Lieutenant Cobra?
Not Lieutenant Cobra. That I know Cobra. Cobra's a
Bill Baines.
But yes.
Okay.
And
then A-Star was the other one?
A-Star. That was the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
Those two
Now-
dudes and John. That was it.
Okay. Because I don't want to get into the recorded call yet, but in the recorded call, you're talking to quite a few people. Were those guys not on your news team?
No, that was
Okay.
I Bully Bullies. I think Lieutenant Cobra was in there too.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. I assumed that you had I Bully Bullies on your news team. And I was going to ask you, why in God's name would you have I Bully Bullies on your news team?
No, that dude.
How could you tolerate that guy?
No,
What the fuck?
that was one of the reasons why I was so pissed off, is because that day he was bugging the fuck out of me. And I'm driving. Okay, let's just go ahead and get into that, because I've been wanting to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, let's start from the beginning. What started all this shit?
Okay, what started it was I had that argument with Tommy, because that's about the time where he was like, fuck your dead dad, all that kind of stuff. And then I told Tommy, fuck you, I ain't fucking with you no more, house husband, you can jump off. So I'm done with Tommy. And what I do is, like, since I had done that work with Nick, and at the time I respected Nick, I went to him in the DM and I was like, hey man, even though, Tommy's a fuck boy and I don't like him, I know you're associated with him, just wanted to say there's no beef between me and you. I can give y'all a picture of this conversation too, because it's only a page long.
Right.
But yeah, he I came to him in the DMs. I said, it's all good between me and you. And then he smarted off and he said some shit like, hold on, I'll pull it up just so I don't misconstrue something. Basically, the conversation went like, he insulted my dad. He was like, your dad's dead. It just like out of nowhere, he says shit like that. Your dad's dead. I said, no, my dad was murdered. And then he went on saying, I really wish I could find this because it's been so long. Basically, he was telling me to go fuck myself. And and then he brought up my dad too, which to me, you don't really need to do that. If you want to talk shit to me, that's cool. I'm a grown man. Let's talk shit all night long. I can take it. But when you want to talk about someone else's family, do you want me to start talking about your family? And which is one of the reasons why I think Tommy got so mad at me, because I'm talking about him being a house husband and being a failure in life, basically. I mean, I call it the way I see it.
Was the catalyst for that perhaps because I don't know timeline wise when this was, but you were talking some shit about Dead on Dave at some point. Was that before? Because I think you had said something about him being disabled or something like that.
Yeah, there's probably me in there, because I think he was in that he was in that first call, and they were just kind of like making a molehill out of fucking nothing, and they didn't want to even ask for an explanation. So if they're going to do that, then I'm going to come hard. And I don't really care if people
Yeah,
like
but what
me
I'm
or
saying
not.
is like, doesn't that make sense as the escalation? Like if you guys were coming at each other and then you said that shit about Dead on Dave, and then they come back at you with that. I mean, it seems like they saw that as the green light to go after that. You know what I mean? Would you say that that's like, I guess, out of pocket for that, or?
Well, I mean, but yeah, everyone was escalating some because everyone wanted to get a shot in.
Sure. Okay.
You know, but to me, after I'd explained it to Tommy behind the scenes before any of this happened, you know, what exactly the case was about, because I explained the case. A lot of people just search me on the internet and they like to just start making up stories. So when I explained it to him and he knew it, I felt specifically pissed off because I had spent time and effort to explain it. So when they just want to go out and be like, you know, making up bullshit, whatever. And if I called Dave disabled, you know, that's just me being an asshole. You know, I don't have nothing against Dave. You know, he will sit on that call and defend Tommy all day long. But to me, it's just buddies. They don't know fucking shit, really.
Okay.
And then add in Nick to him, you know, it's just like a fucking parade of idiots.
So what the fighting goes back and forth. At what point do you post it's a wrap on house number 4, finally finished moving on? New owners have keys and I am dead tired. I'm going to be on vacation for the next week until September 1st when I travel to Florida. I can't fucking wait. Also, I hope Nick DiOrio doesn't pussy out from speaking to my face.
Yeah.
I know he's a pillow soft boy, but he can bring his drunk lover Tommy if he isn't babysitting, I guess. Grease up those cheeks, Nikki. Boss Hog is coming to break you off, baby, lol, with your broke ass. To everyone else,
oh my God,
a week to spend offline with friends and family. Next time you see me, it will all be at the beach. Deuces. At what point do you write that?
I think
God damn, you go hard.
Yeah. I ain't playing. That was when I moved to Florida, so it was September the 1st of 2019.
I think it was 2020, wasn't it?
No, it was 2019 is when I moved to Florida because my grandmother passed in about a week after that. That was one other reason why I was really upset. It's because we knew that she was about to pass. She was in hospice at that time. It's one of the reasons why I'd moved. But well, yeah, that was 2019, September 2019. Because I
so all this drama. Wait, all this drama happened in 2019, or
yes,
when it started. Well, when it started, like when Nick did the stream and Tommy did the stream, and then
wait, you might be right because 2020 was the pandemic. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Okay.
I always forget the pandemic year because it's almost like
you
a
just
blur.
skip that year.
Yeah,
it's almost like a blur.
I get you.
September 2020. That's right, because I bought the first house, October of 2020. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
you're right.
So you write that. At some point you edit it and you just type the first part without Nick and Tommy and all those guys being mentioned. And is there a reason why you edited like that, or did someone talk you into doing that?
Was it edited? How would I edit it? You're saying like I deleted it and then I rewrote it?
Like there's two parts to this. Maybe I could be wrong here. But it's a wrap on house number 4. I'm gonna hit on vacation for the next week until September 1st. Then I'm traveling to Florida. I can't fucking wait. Like that part stayed, and then the rest. Also, I hope Nick DiOrio was gone. Is that, or am I just remembering this wrong?
I don't see how I could edit it without just deleting it and rewriting it. It's
maybe I just misread.
I wouldn't hide it. I wouldn't have hid that anyway. It's like I'll say that again. It's like anything that y'all have heard me say before, I'll do it again.
Okay, gotcha.
So you're gonna burn my house down, build it up again, burn it down, build it up again, burn it down again?
Yeah, because comedy comes in threes.
So you get into this call with I believe Lieutenant Cobra. By the way, also Lieutenant Cobra's like you're going back and forth with Lieutenant Cobra and DMs too, and he screenshots a lot of that stuff. I want to get into that in a second. You get into this call with Lieutenant Cobra, I believe I think. I don't know who else was in it.
There might have been someone else, but I don't remember them either.
There was a couple other people, but I don't.
There could have been people lurking because the thing was, I told I Bully Bullies to record what I was about to say. I said,
record.
Oh, really? Okay, so it wasn't a leak. Yeah. It was. Well, yeah, because in the recording you even said, send this to them. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't know if anyone tried to play it off like I was saying that and I wasn't going to put it out. It's like, why not? That was fun. But off the jump, like from the minute one, I was like, they were bugging me when I was driving. They were like, you need to say something. You need to say, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It's like, I've got shit to do. And they bugged me so much that I was in my truck and I had to drive for an hour from Mississippi back to Louisiana because I sold my house. But 2 days after that, there was a bad tornado or hurricane that came through, and it knocked a tree down that was on my old property into the next door neighbor's property. And one of the reasons why I was going back was just to make sure that I wasn't going to, we'd already closed on the house. Everything was cool. My insurance was off of it. They didn't have insurance on it just quite yet. So I didn't want them to be squirrely with me. So I just went to go help them out. But I was pissed off at this whole situation because I got all my stuff in transit to Florida, but I got to turn back around to go back to Louisiana to go handle this situation. And that's when that's that hour that I spent making that call, because to me, I'm just venting, and playing the heel kind of like for an hour straight because I got nothing to do. And I just wanted to, just pop off at the mouth because it's entertaining. It's like, I'm not an entertainer, but I know what it takes in order to grab an audience. And either you're a baby face or you're a heel. And I like playing the heel, especially when I'm as pissed off as I was.
Right. So from your perspective, you were using this as a way to be a character, invent your problems, and express yourself in this call like that as like a heel.
Yeah.
But
I'm
to
not
them,
not a character. I'm still me, but I'm playing it up. I'm taking it
exaggerated, like an exaggerated version of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you would say that like quote where you said like I have unlimited resources and I can come up with something creative and invasive at the same time. Like that's like character.
Yeah. Well, that's not character. It's like I could do that.
But you
is it real? Well, I guess my question is it real or is it not? Like, do you mean that or don't you?
Well, I mean it. I could do it if I wanted to, but to tell you the truth, it's like, why would I? Because it just cost me money and it didn't really gain me anything except the satisfaction of fucking over some fuckboys. But I mean,
so would you? I guess my question is like, would you actually go, to one of these cons and like actually beat up Nicholas Diorio?
I'd confront him. I mean, we're not going to talk assault, but I'd love to box him in the ring. Like, it's the things that everybody's doing now, like Rich and the quartering and the Boogie and them. It's like that. That's cool.
The Happy Bunch stuff and
Now, don't get it twisted. It's like if I saw Nick I was actually going to New York later on that year, but the pandemic had fucked up travel, so I was going to see my grandmother up there, and I was going to stop by to see Nick or find somewhere where we could meet, because I wanted him to see me face to face, to know that I am serious about what I say. And he doesn't have to like me, but he starts talking shit the way he did after the kind of respect that I showed, saying, hey, I'm not friends with Tommy. I don't want to deal with him, but you're cool, whatever. He could have been like, dude, I don't want to deal with you. This whatever. But he went straight into talking shit. So if he wants to jump in the pool, I'm going to drown his ass.
Right. So what you're saying is you wanted to go up there to meet Nick and, to quote you, to test his nut.
Yeah, see if he's about it.
Yeah, why? Okay, hey, I'm
test
sorry,
his nuts.
but like,
test his nuts.
Why was it? Because I gotta say, like, I don't think this is like a false framing of it or anything, but like a lot of the screenshots and everything of DMs and stuff that were leaked, like, I no offense, but all that sounded pretty gay. Like, it sounded.
It doesn't help your Southern as well as coming.
You know what I mean?
Southern man.
This is how I'm talking.
Is that just how you talk shit, or like...
That's how everyone talks shit? I'm gonna test your nuts. I'm gonna test your manhood. You get out here.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, it's probably where I grew up in my time.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm from the South.
Enough,
test your nut. It's been heard. I test your nuts has been something.
Yeah,
that's been
it's
said.
not test your nut like nutting.
Yeah, I
it's
get
test
it.
your nuts.
Yeah. It sounded like you said nut. I'll blame the phone. I'll blame the phone you're on.
When I'm coming up with this stuff like off the top of my head, it's like I'm trying to make it as descriptive as possible. And in some ways I'm trying to amuse myself.
Yeah.
So it makes me
just
laugh
so you know,
when I say shit.
I'm definitely gonna use that on my next pickup. It's just like, hey, can I test your manhood?
Go ahead.
Now,
you gay?
Yeah.
I'm a gay filmmaker. Yes.
Okay.
Now, in hindsight, looking back, would you have done that again? given the fact, how it was taken or how it was perceived?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't. It didn't really ever bother me. It still it kind of amuses me that people bring it up to this day. It's like it made an impact on them, and I don't know if it's because they never really heard someone just like talk shit to the fullest and not hold back, especially on like a creator or something. Just because like.
I mean, it's not that nobody did that. It's just it's the doubling down. It's the doubling down after people are like, would you really do that? And at the time, again, because of probably stuff that was happening in your personal life and everything else that was going on and your particular animus with these people, you doubled down. You're like, no, yeah, I'll fuck them up. I don't give a shit. And they were like, no, but you would like be assaulting people and you'd be like, yeah, well, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them.
I mean,
fuck him for
enough.
real. If I was in front of him and we were talking and he said some shit that was enough for me to beat the fuck out of him, I probably.
Well, you were saying shit about like going to his house and stuff too.
I said I'd go up there, and what, you don't think that I wouldn't go to someone's house?
No, it's not that I don't think you would. It's just why
why would I say
especially
that?
when you no. It's not why would you say that. It's like why, like I guess why, like. Why would you do it if you're saying also at the same time that you don't care about any of this internet stuff?
Just to bring it to a different level, just to put it in his face and his, make him as
because you're doing a heel thing.
Possible. Exactly, make him as uncomfortable as possible. Would I spend my money to travel up to New York to go beat him up and then get arrested and catch a felony? No, but would I say that I would do it? And I would get in front of his face and I would be there toe to toe to do it. And I even want to do it. Like I'd love to do it in the boxing ring. That would be great. But I'm not here to apologize for anything I said. If anybody finds it offensive, I'm sorry. That's just the world we live in.
And in fairness, we're not here to ask you for an apology either. So
we're just clarifying. We're just curious.
Yeah. And that's fine. But it's been 2 years. It's not like I'm as hateful to them as I'm always just, fuck it. I don't like them. I think that they're smug, arrogant people that really don't have anything, and they have a little bit of clout on the internet, and they have some following, and that's cool. But that doesn't translate to anything in the real world. Not a fucking thing, unless you're getting money for it, which they're not. They don't get a dime. Even when Keem tried to, what was it? I heard that he tried to hire Nick to do documentary. Was it documentaries for Drama Alert?
He did one on Dave Portnoy, I think. And I think he might have did another one as well. Back in 2020, early 2022, I think.
How'd those end up?
I mean, they were good videos. I don't recall off the top of my head like how well they did with view wise, but I think Keemstar was having a hard time with views at that point, or getting.
It's a weird time for commentary for all the reasons you just talked about too. So.
And he has that rule where if you work on Drama Alert, you can't upload to your own channel, or you can't do your own channel.
That's the reason why. I think that's the reason why Willie Mac show. Well, Nick didn't take it, and I don't know.
Because there's no money in it really. It's not like how it was, and Nick's not a bankable creator. I mean, he does little goofy documentaries, but they don't make any money, and they don't make any social impact really. He talks on live streams all day long, weighs 450 fucking pounds. I mean, he's 25 something, or getting up there. I know Tommy's close to 50. He doesn't own anything. His wife.
You definitely don't care about him at all.
No, not a bit.
Got it.
I did want to ask my impression, because I was a fan just watching commentary at that point. When I heard the call, it sounded really unhinged. In that moment, it sounded like you were having a complete kind of mental breakdown. And I'm just talking about the audience perspective.
I yell. I yell at workers. Yell at people that, on the phone.
Yeah.
I yell at my fucking financial advisor all the time.
Yeah. My question really is, I think Tommy called the police because of the threats he made.
He did?
I can't remember. I think that didn't that happen?
I know he said it was because he's like all scared in that video. He's like,
he said he did.
He's gonna hurt me,
he said he did. I don't know if he actually did it or not, but I remember viewing that he said he did. So
this is another thing. Like he took to the umpteenth. I think what I said was I'll hire somebody to handle that, because it's not like I can go overseas. But I'd hire someone to fuck with Tommy as far as like YouTube stuff, like doing videos on him or shit like that. It's like I'll hire a hitman. It's like, where you go to do that? Publix.
Right.
But I am. It does amuse me that he called the cops because he's a bitch. And
I think he called like the US police over the stuff you said about Nick. I don't remember.
Well, no one contacted me. I didn't have any police contact. It would have been hilarious if I would have, because that video would have been funny as fuck.
Because at the time,
I'm gonna say you didn't get any contact because of your FBI informant status. That's what I'm going with. Yeah.
I had the boys. I just called them up. I'm like,
yeah, you just called up on your Fed phone.
I just did a federal felony.
There you go.
Because at the time, like this recorded call, it sounds like you're having this mental breakdown and this downfall just from your tone and everything that's going on in the call. And it's just like I could see like why Tommy's like, oh shit, this guy's having a breakdown. He might be serious. I don't know.
Because I want them to think that. Like that's if I did it half-assed, if I just was like, oh, these guys are dicks, so I'm gonna go home. No one would really. It wouldn't get it a reaction, and that's what I was going for. So the whole time is like I probably went a little bit too hard and a little bit too long, but I was going as hard as I felt I needed to. And a lot of people don't know me. You've never sat down and talked to me for an extended period of time, and you've definitely never done business with me. But I do yell at people. Maybe not as hard as I did that day, but I'm trying to get a point across. And a lot of times when I would yell, I would stop and I would try to explain to the people in the call, why it's not that that this shit doesn't really matter at the end. What matters to me was the respect, and the just respect as a person on YouTube. You could talk about me all you want to on videos or whatever. It's like when you start talking about dead relatives of mine and taking shit out of context and just lying about it, I'm gonna go hard at you. That's just, I went hard at everyone else. Like I sued multi-billion dollar corporations for just abetting terrorists, not to mention the guys that were actually in the FARC. It's like I lived to see the day of that terrorist organization decimated. And at the time when Tommy was talking shit about that and just minimizing my achievement and what I felt about it, it's like I'm just going to go hard at what he loves. That's just what you got to do.
So at that time when you were kind of spurting in the call, like, were you like, did you care at all about the future of like a YouTube career or anything like that? Or at that point you just, because it sounds like at some point you did consider yourself a YouTuber, and now it sounds like you definitely don't. And at some point before that you didn't. Like at that point, were you just kind of like, fuck it? Or?
I was done with it at that point because the pandemic and everything had just, I stopped doing the Pescatore News Network in February. When we realized the pandemic was going to be a lot larger than it was. The guys still hung around in the Discord and stuff like that. But as to your statement as me wanting to be a YouTuber, I've never really wanted to be a YouTuber on camera. I'd like being behind the scenes, and I did try doing some live streaming. I don't think I did very well, and I didn't enjoy it. So around that time when I was moving to Florida, I'm like, I'm kind of done with YouTube because I was moving into real estate. That was going to be taking up a lot of my time and my energy and focus.
Right.
And I didn't like working with younger people. That sounds bad, but I would rather work with someone that describes himself as a filmmaker or as a producer or someone that has a set of skills for a particular thing. And they do this for a living and they're professional. I like dealing with those people. I couldn't deal with them at this point. And one of the things that I did to kind of make it so those dudes could go off and not have me as like an albatross around them is like, I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm done with this. I'll beat him. Y'all just go. Just everybody go, get the fuck out of here. Because they will have, or they might have had careers past me. I didn't want my fieriness to fuck them up. Right. So
you're saying you basically started conflict with some of the people that were on your news team so that you could free them up from you?
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Because for me, I'll be fine. YouTube is not my main source of anything. It's my main source of entertainment, But at this point, I make more money working in the financial sector and real estate than I ever did in YouTube. And the time difference between those two, I'd never go back because there's no money in YouTube left. And I really started seeing that and when I did the channel right around Christmas of 2019. It's like we were making no money, but John was producing these videos that were great, making no money because the commentary and the news on YouTube is saturated. You know, Keem's gone because there's no money. Scarce is gone. The big guys are gone, and it's just small Discord groups left. And when you're to that point, no one is, you know, grabbing the lion's share of all the views.
Yeah.
A lot of the channels
you
took
said
the sale of that too.
Yeah, I mean, you said a couple times that this was never about like let's call it fame or glory or honor or anything like that. You were just always in it for the money. So it does make sense that you would have been there for when it was really hot, and then when things started to cool off and it started to get a lot harder for some of the people. Let's call it that they had a little bit more of that passion. You just kind of went,
exactly,
and just kind of dipped out. Is that how you describe it too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a passion for doing videos when it's like when I'm working. Like I do work with.
Well, it sounds like you had a passion for the business element of it.
I have a passion for
like
the business and the numbers,
right?
The stories and the news. That's fun to do too. But it's all if it doesn't make money, I don't want to put the effort into it.
Got it.
Question about the DMs with Lieutenant Cobra that he leaked.
Okay.
At some point, he said he created this fake scenario where he had Nick's docs. It was a fake docs, but he said he had it. And you said, and everything, I no longer abide by any internet norms or morals. His day job, too. Like, at that point, like, what was going through your head at that point, from your perspective?
I mean, nothing really. It was just like he put that text up there, and I was like, yeah, just send whatever. Send everything. I didn't say I would do anything with it, and I didn't dox him, and I don't really give a fuck if I did or not. But yeah, I wasn't playing nice. I was not playing nice. And a lot of these younger kids, they've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Like somebody like Cobra, like he'll try to do some shit like that, and he'll talk shit on the call or whatever. And then like 3 months ago, he's in the DMs begging me for money. He's begging me for money. He's like, please, can I have some money? You have money? I don't have anything. Do you have a job? Do you have something I can do? I mean, that I can name 10 YouTubers that have come asking for money. I won't do it because I don't want to embarrass them. There is a YouTuber that has 8-figure subscribers that wanted me to buy half his channel for $400,000. And
oh, jeez.
And I looked at it, but it was like there was absolutely no way I could get any kind of guaranteed ROI at all. Nice guy, great guy, got problems. Like everyone else, you know, like me and everyone else.
Yeah.
But people do that. Like they'll do that and be like, oh my God, how could Josh even ask for where he works? And then they turn around, just have some money. Some money, please. You have money. Can you help me, please?
Yeah.
So.
The other thing that was mentioned during this whole thing is that you were in a group chat with all the commentary guys, and this is around the time where Ethan Ralph's sex tape had dropped, and you put it in the chat. And I don't know if you realized or not.
I linked Ethan's tweet in the chat, and in that chat, I've been in that chat for a long time, and there were guys my age in there, and there were guys younger, but I'm not anyone's dad. Linking a tweet in a group chat, there's nothing wrong with it. Even if it is Ethan Ralph's little 15-second clip of him putting his thumb up that girl's ass and then smelling it. Like when I saw that, I was like, that's hilarious. So I went ahead and put it up because everyone else was going to be talking about it. And then everyone wants to be proved. There's kids in here. Why are there kids in here? If there's kids in here, then get them out. Why do I have to abide by kitty rules? This has always been adults over 18 or dudes over 18. Is like they just want to find something. And if they're squeamish about sex, that's one thing. Okay. But this was a creator that that released his own sex tape. How is that not news?
No, it was news. It definitely was news for sure.
Yeah, wasn't that kind of brought up as a counterpoint because you had called Tommy a pedo or something, saying something about him pissing on kids or something like that?
No, that wasn't me.
No?
No.
I could have
You called him Tommy CP. I think that was.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
I made
that's
up
what
that
it is.
name. Yeah, I made up that name. Yeah.
Why did you come up with that name?
Because it's Tommy C, and if you had a P, it's Tommy CP.
I mean,
It's
but
Thomas
obviously
Father.
that's like a CP. I mean,
It's-
fair enough. All right, if
Sounds
that's all
funny.
it was, if that's all it was.
I'm throwing it back at him. That's all it was. I'm not calling
Yeah, but
him a pedo.
I think it's right. So like what I'm saying though is that like wouldn't it be so if you had said that, right? Wouldn't it be fair for somebody to come back at you with like something that you legitimately did that would implicate you in that way? Just to show you how it was, just to kind of put you on your heel?
Sure, but it's not really,
Okay.
really putting me on my heel because I don't see anything wrong with it. I didn't do anything wrong. To the letter
You
of the
did
law.
post. I mean, you did post illicit content with a chat with minors in it.
Well, how am I
That is
supposed to
true.
determine who's in this 120?
I'm not making a judgment about it. I'm just saying that's the fact.
I'm asking you. If there are kids inside this chat, and this chat wasn't like written at the top, there are children in here. Please don't post anything that you wouldn't, do whatever. There's no rules to that. I'm not here to be anyone's father. If the kids are in there and they see, other stuff that had been posted in there, like, Nazi imagery, the shit that Cobra would post, lots of, N words and F words and all kind of other stuff,
Sure.
Why didn't anyone call any of that out? Is it only because it's sex related that we're going to call it out now? Does that chat have rules
porn
now after this?
Like I said, I wasn't a part of that chat. I wasn't really making any moral judgments about it. I was just as a point of
right. You're bringing up.
I was just curious how I was just curious how you'd respond to that. Really,
yeah. I'm arguing my point as I would if I was in court, and I go to the letter of the law. I don't go to the letter of morality because
Right.
You can't get in trouble for being immoral. You can get in trouble for being illegal.
On that same no, I don't know if this was the same group chat or if this is a different group chat. Is it true that you posted George Floyd's sex tape in a group chat too? Is that real? I didn't even know he had a sex tape. So this is news to me.
Does he?
Does he? I don't know.
I don't know.
I heard that somewhere. I don't know if that's.
I think he did porn. I don't remember. I don't remember.
God,
not to bring that up.
They're trying to pin that on me too. Damn.
I don't know. I don't know.
People out from my house picketing me.
Well, that's. I just thought I'd ask.
No, I didn't. I didn't even know anything about George Floyd like that.
All right. Well, then I retract that. It's probably not a thing then.
I will say about the Ethan Roth thing, you probably had the worst response in the sense that you told Cobra your little ass was begging for it. Another.
Yeah, he was. He was asked. He came in my chat and he was like, "Yo," and I said, "I'm not giving it to you." I said, "I'll put it in the thing. That's where it's at." And I don't really consider Cobra a child. He was 17 at the time. He's been doing this shit for a very, very, very long time. So
I mean, but letter of the law, right?
What letter of the law? He's not.
He's 17
in the UK.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Okay. So
go ahead.
No. I was just saying that a lot of people like to come and be like, Cobra's a child. He's such a child. Dude, he's over 18 now. I know that for sure. But even before then, he was pushing the line. And that's why I didn't really want, after all this happened, I was like, I need to remove myself from this because for two reasons. For one, y'all have a point. I don't really need it. My sense of humor and my sensibilities don't really need to be around young kids. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'll concede to that point. Not that, I'm putting up stuff illegally, but my sense of humor, the way I talk, the way I act, children they would be, whatever. You shouldn't do it around kids. I don't have
not
kids.
The place for
it. I don't have kids, so I don't really deal with kids a lot. But I forgot where I was going with this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
No, I'll just September 2020 is when you said you were going to return. Were you planning to return to content creating when you got at that time? Was that the plan? Because that was the meme. In September, and then January comes around.
I was planning on coming back and doing live streams and everything. The problem with that is when I moved to Florida, I had an Airbnb for the first 3 months. And I couldn't set up my entire setup in the Airbnb. I had a few things, but I couldn't do the camera system and the lighting and whatever. When I bought the beach house, I was able to move everything in there. But it wasn't until like the beginning of 2022 when I had all the flooring done and I can move everything in and everything wasn't just a jumbled mess.
Right.
Then lived there for a few months, bought the house that I'm in now, and moved everything from there to here, and that took just as long to set back up. So by the time that I'm able, to do another live stream, it's probably like May of 2022. And at this point, it's like I've got so much other stuff going on. It's just it fell by the wayside. At the time, I was like, I really wanted to do live streams. It was fun. It's fun talking to people. I like to talk. I like to talk shit. I like discussions and I like debate. So
Right.
I was planning on coming back. And I've talked with a friend of mine about doing a show once a week, just for shits and giggles. But everybody can do them. He said September 1st, and I admit that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it's just things come up in life. It's like I can't schedule everything out, especially when YouTube is not the top priority for me. It falls somewhere in the line of like, my Spotify account or, any other app that I play around in. It's like a game. It's a fun game. You can make a little money on.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you. So you did come back a couple times, but not with content creating. You came back to talk about this stuff. I think you did a stream with Sen maybe, or Steve Believe. I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
Where you came back and talked. Was there any plans to reignite everything and get your revenge at that point, or were you just there to shit talk?
Nah, I was just there to shit talk. There's really no revenge I can get from this except just keep talking shit and keep telling people how my experience with Tommy and Nick went, which was very bad. I don't think highly of them. Nick is young, he can change. Tommy is
a great guy.
Yeah, great guy. Super guy.
I'm sorry, but I'm still a little bit confused even after all of that. Like, what would you say if you had and I know that it's kind of hard to do this on the spot necessarily, but could you give maybe a one sentence sort of thing, like a summary maybe of why you don't like Nick and why you don't like Tommy? Because I'm still a little confused about that. I don't was it just about the
they're snakes. It's like I've worked with them in the background, and especially for Tommy to send the video that I was telling you about, where he's like, "Hey man, I'm really sorry for your loss, and I know I was in the military. I know, and he was sympathetic, and I actually was like, hey, that's nice of him to do that, and that was maybe a month or so before he turned around. He's like, fuck John, I fucking said that, because he's pissed off that sometimes when I talk to people, I'm short with them, and I don't, he wanted me to show him respect or something like that. But
would you acknowledge
he wouldn't show respect to me, so why the fuck should I ever show respect to him? And this is from day one.
Right. Well, it sounds like you have a little bit of what you would classify as an online presence or an online persona, and then you have one that's for in private. Would you be willing to give that to Tommy on any level?
Yes. The difference is that I also have a legal persona. I have a lot of stuff that you can search up right now and say, oh my God, he's got a lot of other stuff that is unrelated to YouTube, unrelated to anything else. And that kind of section I take very seriously. So when anyone starts talking shit about that, it's like I'm gonna come at them. But it's the viewer's the viewer. They hate people, they love people. It's entertaining.
Sure.
It's mostly in the vein of entertainment for me, to tell you the truth.
So you listed that specific example for Tommy. Do you have a specific example for Nick?
Nick, it was basically just that text chat that I was telling you about, where I would where I came to him, I said, hey, I'm not mad at you or anything, and then he immediately was just like, yeah, fuck you, your dad's dead. And it's like, once you do that, I don't really give people second chances whenever they go to that. If you want to go to that, then I'm going and I'm not stopping. So that's what pissed me off about Nick, is that Nick and I were behind the scenes working on that Peace Corps thing just a month before that. And we don't have to be friends, but he could, when I came to him out of respect and I was like, hey man, don't want to, I want you to know that I'm not fucking with Tommy no more, but you're cool. I don't have no beef with you. And then he made some beef. So, you know, I can't be friendly after that. Can't be respectful after that. It would have been one thing if you just said, yeah, man, I get it. But you and I, you know, I work with Tommy. I do this with Tommy. We just whatever, you know, take it easy, man. Take it easy, Nick. Blah, blah, blah. And then he might have got on, you know, Augie's thing and said, I don't like Josh. And said like, oh, okay, whatever. But when he says, you know, he's like, I don't like Josh. And then before then, he was like, yeah, fuck you. You know, your dad's dead. You sucked off Keem for a couple of years. I mean, you know, okay. I don't have people do that to me. Like normally that would not happen. But these people, I've been around them and talked to them for so many years that I see who they are at this point. I knew who Tommy was because he would say one thing and then he would do another. Nick, I was a little bit more surprised at because I thought he was a little smarter than Tommy. And, you know, he had maybe a little bit more to offer. But no, I don't think that way. No.
Well, all we have is our interactions. Like, I'm very biased, right? I've had very good interactions with Tommy. He's always been, you know, a pretty decent person to me and hasn't snaked me or anything like that. Now you have a different, you know, you have a different bias because he made fun of your dead dad. Which, you know what? I don't blame you for being mad about that one. I can totally get where you're coming from that from your perspective on that situation.
And it's not like I don't get that on Twitter, like for all the time, like people that are just trolls. That's the first thing they go to.
Yeah.
But it really fucked me up that he would say behind the scenes, you know, hey, I'll send you the video. I still got it. I'll send it somewhere. I think it's in my here.
You can send it to me if you want.
I did want to say one thing. You were on Fireball with everybody, and you know, I was kind of expecting, you know, shit to go down, stuff, you know, but it kind of was pretty copacetic. You were on there with Nick and Tommy. Nothing crazy happened. What was your reasoning for not really saying anything or kind of going at him? Was it just like let bygones be bygones, or
no? It's not my show. I was on a game show and other people, and it wasn't my place to bring my drama inside their show. It's like I'm here to be a contestant, and you know, I make jokes with you. You know, everyone jokes about your legs, so I didn't really know you, so that's kind of where I was going. And you know, we're just throwing shit back and forth, and I didn't want it to be serious. You know, so I gave it a pass for sake of gamesmanship, if you could, you know, kind of say it, because I had fun. I like the idea of a game show where a lot of creators team up. It's like that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, it was,
but it was just executed by the wrong person.
Like, yeah, I guess I agree, but I think Salvo did his best. It's just what happened afterwards is the bad thing, you know.
he did as a host. Good.
As a host, he's
good.
Great. Yeah,
he could use some refinement. Like
just needs a producer.
He needs a producer. And you want to know a secret? After the first Keemstar show where Salvo was on, Keem called me up and asked me to get in a call with Salvo and Chris the Narc and him. And Keem wanted me to teach Salvo and Chris how to run a docket and how to produce a show. So for the next day or two, is like I would call them and I would help them out. I would help out Chris mostly because Salvo's lazy. And he just,
I'm just imagining how that call would go.
He just like showing up and like acting out. That's his idea of doing the work. A lot of times, a lot of this work is done behind the scenes, and he didn't want to put in that time and effort. And that's one of the other reasons why, you know, that show didn't last, is because Keem wanted a specific host to back him up. Salvo wanted to be main man number one, and you can't overshadow Keem. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So, but his idea of that show of doing you know, mini creators, like once a month, like do a big show and like put some money behind it, actually pay people instead of just like saying you're gonna pay them and then not pay them. Like that shit really pisses people
like Matt
off.
Pitt.
Thank you. Yeah, never got the money, but yeah, you know.
Matt Pitt, you how much were you owed in total?
I have no idea at this point.
It went in like 2 G's.
It was probably a little under that. I can't remember at all. I don't even remember how big it was. To be honest with you, I never thought I was ever going to get the money anyways. You know, it was just like I don't think I'm going to get this.
He did it backwards. He should have been like, I'm going to cap it at 500, you know, and then and keep all the super chats, but you got your prize already. Or make it a stupid prize. Like, what I would have done was, if it was me, I would have taken one of these extra play buttons that I have, and I would have used that as the prize.
Okay, that would have been cool.
Yeah, just something. It didn't have to be money. It had to be something for people to tune in for. It's like no one's going to get rich like playing YouTube games and stuff like that. But it's nice for the viewers because the viewers get to see all of the creators in one place interacting with each other. Yeah, and that's good entertainment.
Right.
I wish Dumpy would do Ice Cube already.
You said that you got in a call with Keem and Chris, and Keem wanted you to help with the show, or at least help Chris set up the docket, Chris and Salvo. So would you say that the bridge has been mended between you and Keem? Like completely mended? Or?
Me and Keem, we're totally fine. You know, I know that at first he liked to talk a little shit, just like me. Behind the scenes, we've talked here and there, and he's asked me to come back to work at Drama Alert, or to work the Drama Alert Twitter account, and something else. But I told him, I was like, there's absolutely no way I can do it now because I have 2 rental properties. I have my house that I'm remodeling right now. It's like the whole summer for me is completely shot. So,
I know that feeling.
Yeah, it's just like when you're looking at a calendar and you're like, I can't use my right now. I'm putting in a room on the back of my house, and we put the slab down, we put everything down, and the guys did the electrical, and now I've got like a dead short after they did the electrical. So none of the plugs on the outside of the house work until they get to come back. So it's just like, dude, problem after problem.
Yeah, it sucks. My question really is since you mended the bridge with Keem, do you see any outcome where you and Tommy or you and Nick could have a conversation, at the very least, a conversation?
Yeah, we can have a conversation. I haven't pursued it just because it's not top of my mind. You know, it is one thing that I do want to go back and revisit just because I hate that I left it that way. That's the kind of thing that pisses me off the most. It's like it got so far away from me that after a while I was just like, now if I go and talk about it, people will be like, you're just drumming up drama. Yeah, it's just too far away. But I would have a discussion with them. I'm not saying we'll walk away as friends, but we can definitely talk. I'll give anybody a chance to talk.
Yeah, fair enough. Anything else planned for the future when it comes to YouTube, or are you done? Has the book been closed?
No, I've got. I'm not going to say the YouTuber's name, but it's a sub 1 million YouTuber. We're working on a video about G4, and he's doing a really deep dive in the video. I'm doing a section about Tucker Roberts, the guy that's the son of the Comcast owner that was like a rich boy that his dad bought him all these big assets and then he just ran them into the ground. It's like I wanted to talk about that, the financial part of it. On occasion, I'll throw in with this guy and we'll throw some things around, and he'll do 90% of the work, but some of the writing and some of that, I still stick my toe in from time to time. As far as like keeping up with the gossip and the drama, surface level, if some people come to me and tell me, or if it actually catches my attention, I'll look into it just because it's fun. It's YouTube will never not be a part of my life, I don't think, just because I'm so notorious now. But I don't want to work on like building a channel or working on YouTube. Like I don't want to put time into it anymore just because it's just not economically viable. It's fun. Believe me, it is fun. And that's the reason why I work with Keem even after I didn't have to anymore. Just because I liked it. But there's I never say never. I could always hook up and find a new talent, and we could do something super big. But I wouldn't use my channel. We'd just start from scratch.
Okay. Sounds good. Anything that we missed, Pescatore, that you think you wanted to...
No, I think that's about it. I hope I didn't talk y'all's ears off or offend y'all so much that y'all never want to talk to me again. I'm a reasonable person. It's just
Sure, yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, no, you seem reasonable. You seem reasonable enough. You definitely don't seem like the guy that was in the recorded call. That's for sure.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, a lot of times I can turn that on and off at all times. Like, get your fucking mother over here, and I'm gonna take it and grease her ass all the way up and down. You better get them cheeks ready, boy. I'll get that motherfucker deep in there, and you'll taste me in the back of your teeth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like that. Well, that's gonna be a sound alert for somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody.
I am curious.
Cut that.
Yeah, exactly. Clip it. Somebody clip it. I am curious. You have one quote here from that notorious recorded call, and I just want to put it to you and just see how you feel about it.
Right.
Yeah, the quote is, "I don't care. I do shit about money. You can't spend integrity." Do you agree or disagree?
100%.
All right. Fair enough.
I mean, fair enough. Pescatore, I want to say thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thanks a lot, guys. It's been nice.
Awesome interview. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate your perspective. You have a very interesting story, so I can't wait for people to hear this.
Okay. And when y'all get a chance, y'all can take a look at that Tommy thing, the video. It's just whatever. I don't want to put it on here for everybody, but y'all can take a look at it.
For sure. Oh yeah. I'll take a look at it.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Take it easy, Miss Pescatore.
Y'all take it easy.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Don't cause adpocalypse 5 for us, fucking asshole.
You almost said Pescatore. Did you hear yourself, or did you catch that?
Yeah, Mr. Pisk. I meant that was an accident.
It just rolls off the tongue. If he had stuck around in commentary, I feel like that would have come up.
Oh wow, that was an interesting conversation. Holy shit!
How is it this one and the last one that we just did? We thought we were gonna have some unhinged shit happening, and it's just like completely calm and like, no, this is I'm a normal person. Da, 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 da.
I mean, yeah,
probably because like they let their guard down when it's just us, but they ham it up when we're on stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, time has gone by, and
sure, it's been plenty of time.
I'd be honest with you, I knew it wasn't going to be like that because I was on Fireball with him, and he was completely fine. Like there was I tried to bait him. I tried to say something to get him going. Like not even nothing bad. I just tried to I sent a joke his way, and he laughed. And I was like, I guess everything's okay now. So like, he doesn't really,
Yeah, it's hard. It's like when he says that this stuff doesn't bother him or that he's not like whatever. It's like I believe him like 45%, but then there's that other 55% where he says he's gonna go find people in real life and beat them up, and then when you ask him about it, he's like, yeah, I'll do that. It's like, okay.
I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping and saying, that stuff was pretty cringe, and I don't.
Yeah, no, but he like quadrupled down on it.
I mean, like I guess I can get where. No, I can't get the execution of this. No, but I can get why he's angry about the dead father and stuff. Like I can get why that sent him going a bit. I can get it.
I get it too, but again, like he's smart enough to know that like that was an escalation that was brought on by the back and forth that he had with people and the things that he was saying to them, which is what I was trying to get him to acknowledge. And it sounds like he kind of did, but it's hard without the real receipts. If we ever do get that conversation between him and Nick and Tommy, that maybe a lot of that stuff would be cleared up. So I don't know, maybe a part 2. Let us know in the comment section below if you want to see that. Press like on the video if you've gotten this far too. I appreciate it.
Not in the next 10 years. I don't think they'll get into a call.
We'll see. If you like it, and if you who knows, chat, who knows, comment section. Let us know.
Well, I'll say one thing. Mr. Pescatore is very good with money.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
I know a lot of people that are bad with money. Those are Reynolds Hughes, Strictly Patrick, Always Zero, Bunny Button, Panic Pun, Everborn, Fanfiction Narrator, Fresh Brewski, Mame, and Stefan Corbino. If you want to be bad with money, you can pay $14.99 a month to become bad with money, in which you will have your name said after the end of every stream or video. If you can't afford that, because who can these days, you can pay $10.99 a month to be a Beaver lover. That will get you in priority call each time we stream, because when we stream, we take callers, and if you want to be pulled up first, you can be in priority callers. If you can't afford that, we got the Stumpies, which is $4.99 a month, which gets you access to membership streams once a month, and the Discord server. So if that's something you're interested in, become a Stumpy. Anything. And
if you're a freeloader, again, like we never do this, but if you're a freeloader, you could always share the content. That'd be helpful too. I mean, we don't ask for that very often, but that'd be cool.
or when you go to sleep, right? And
Right.
this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna replay the episode at 0.25 speed.
No, we can't. We can't. No. We can't.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That is against
and
TOS.
also, well, yes, but something you can do that's totally TOS friendly is you can go over to our Discord section, not our Discord, excuse me, the description of this YouTube video and check out our artists, our thumbnail artists. They're fantastic people. Go check them out. Go commission them for your art, for your profile pictures, or for thumbnails, or if you want art for your channel for different assets or video stuff. Check them out. They're really crazy, cool people. And this is a pretty good interview. I didn't know where this was going to go or how this was going to go, but I think we got something here. Yeah,
I think I don't know if the other people in the other party will want to listen to it, but if they do, I will definitely moderate a conversation privately or publicly between Pescatore or Tommy or Nick for sure. So, but thank you so much for listening, guys. And remember, now recording is always recording.
That's right.
Exactly like you want it. I'm not saying that I misunderstood anything, because I did. And I talked about it Dave the other day. We felt, and I still feel, that you came off like you were some kind of military dude. All right, you were very vague about it, and we have all these guys coming up to us all the time saying they're special forces and this, that, and the other thing. We've dealt with these military phonies before. Whether you meant it or not, that's the way you came off. So I'm not going to say I was confused about anything. I was. That's how I took you. And there's other things in that video. Like you said I treated you poorly. Like I asked you to be on my team, and when I said I had no money, I was like all shocked about you not wanting to be there. That's not true, and I showed that in the video as well. When you said you couldn't do it, I said, I understand you're a working man. And you went in the public, and you said that, like, I was pissed off that you weren't on there. And that's simply not true, all right? Here's what I'll do for you, all right? I'll put in there that you claim that what you're referring to was the narco-terrorists or something. Because, strangely enough, when you did announce it publicly, just by sheer chance, we looked you up and we found your dad. And let me tell you something. I have nothing but empathy for you and your father. I hate those commies. I hate what they did to your family. And I know you got paid and you deserved it. All right? But I'm not saying that I misunderstood shit, because I still feel that way. I still feel like I was treated freaking poorly. I still feel like I was lied about. But I will happily put your side. Here's what Josh meant, right? This is the way I understood it. If you're okay with that, I'd be happy to do it.